workplace sexual harassment.
And 3 secrets from the TSA to help your security screening fly by this summer.
And is that a tractor leading a police chase? Only in Maine.
This is News Center Now.
With the explosion of the Me Too movement, sexual harassment in the workplace is a big discussion, but still not every case is reported. Hello, I'm Chris Costa in for Lee Goldberg.
And I'm Lindsay Mills. People who work in Maine's thousands of small businesses can be particularly vulnerable. Many of these businesses don't have a human resources department or aren't required to complete annual sexual assault training.
There are 2 women who experienced this problem firsthand and say that gap in policy is wrong, and they're doing something about it.
Quite honestly, when I had heard it was happening to other people in our community, that's when I got fired up, and that's when I came forward.
Stephanie Brock refuses to let another person find themselves in the situation she faced 6 months ago.
These words were the ones that helped me make the decision. Focus on the truth and not the outcome, and that's what it really came down to.
Her story is one of Maine's first public accounts of the Me Too movement, but she says it's hardly the first time she's been harassed while on the job.
It was a lot of counseling, it was a lot of therapy, it was a lot of talking to other people. It was a lot about, for me, like building some allies around making sure that what I was doing was the right thing, and that there would be other people there to help with moving the story forward.
Her company worked with another small business run by a man named Jess Knox. In an open letter posted on Facebook, Brock accused Knox of inappropriate behavior at work functions. But like thousands of small businesses in Maine, Knox's company had no human resources department, leaving the investigation of the claims to a board of trustees, including Betsy Peters.
I felt like I was in cognitive overload at the time.
This gap in Maine's sexual harassment policies sparked their collective idea behind a new website, mainecando.org.
And we've got to be able to use the momentum of what happened and flip the script. We're all powerful enough to take our role and get rid of this problem.
With the help of the Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault, it compiles resources for survivors, small business owners, and investors to help prevent sexual harassment and navigate it when it happens. The Equal Employment Opportunity Commission reports about 75% of harassment cases go unreported.
They don't know what's going to happen. They're concerned about if they're going to get fired or not. And so we really wanted to lay out a lot of information and also acknowledge that there's a place to go get help. That's really giving power back to the victims to acknowledge that there is something that you can do if you choose to.
The site also provides resources for businesses, its leaders, and investors.
Everybody's responsible for taking part in this, and the website has tools for wherever you sit, you can make a difference.
One click at a time, they hope others can change the conversation.
To put that together so that other people feel that insulation that I felt, that part feels amazing.
The Maine Coalition Against Sexual Assault says the site is the first of its kind in Maine and possibly in the country. Also featured on the site is a section for people to take a pledge to prevent sexual harassment when they see it. There's even a text option. You can text the words MAINE with an E, can do, to 66866 to sign the pledge. All right, a big change from last night's weather.
That's right, sunshine as far as the eye can see, Jess.
I know, guys. It is gorgeous out there today. We had a great day, not a lot going on. It's because we have higher pressure in place. Things definitely quieted down quite a bit from our busy night last night. Mostly sunny skies out there, and it's going to be nice and bright as we go throughout this week as well. Things are going to be looking pretty good for the next couple of days. Again, an area of high pressure that is in place right now, and that's going to stick with us through the next couple of days. By tomorrow night, we'll see a cold front come through. It's only going to cool us off a little bit, though. Look at the temperatures. Highs today made it into the mid to upper 70s, 75. The high temperature today in Bangor, 78 in Portland, and it's still not too bad out there this evening. Most of us still pretty mild in those mid to upper 70s. A little bit cooler to the north, 67 in Caribou and 66 degrees right now in Greenville. Windy though today too. These are the current wind speeds, 15 to 25 miles an hour. Wind gusts are even higher than that, gusting to 30 right now in Portland and pretty close in Bangor, gusting to about 29 miles an hour. So warmer tomorrow, a few clouds tomorrow afternoon and evening, maybe a few sprinkles, then gorgeous for Thursday and Friday. The weekend though, looks a little iffy, guys. We'll talk about it coming up.
All right, Jess, thanks. Well, after a technical delay this morning, your ranked choice ballots are running through the system. This morning, some towns reports were unreadable by the computer, so that data had to be resubmitted. But the Secretary of State announced on his Facebook page that the ballots are in, and now we just have to wait for the computer to do its work. Then we will know the Democratic nominees for governor and the 2nd District House seat.
A Maine airport is expected to hit a new record with the number of travelers this summer. That's because recently officials at the Portland Jetport say the numbers have been soaring.
They typically see 1,000 passengers just in the first couple of hours every day. If that translates to long security lines to you, there are some hacks to get through the checkpoints fast. We verify to separate myth from fact.
It's kind of like being at the bank, right? Seems like whatever teller you pick, that's the slow line.
Many dread the waiting game, and at the airport, it can really test our patience. Rick Caldwell, the Transportation Security Administration supervisor at the Portland Jetport, is our source to find hacks that can actually help. Hack number 1, lines to the left move faster because more people are right-handed, so they tend to choose the lines on the right side of the checkpoint.
One thing I always tell passengers is not how many people are in front of you, but who's in front of you sometimes.
He says the process slows down when they find prohibited items in carry-ons, like large amounts of liquids and gels or pocket knives.
And if everybody's prepared, doesn't matter right or left, it should be equal. There is no one side or the other that does that. That's certainly a myth.
Hack number 2, lines that have less agents move faster. If there are more agents, it could mean someone's training, and then the line would move slower.
Not necessarily. Sometimes that's a good thing because then we can process more people. We have more people available for that.
Caldwell says the Portland Jetport is staffed to keep up with a record number of travelers anticipated this summer. So we're 0 for 2. Let's try hack number 3. If you want to bring your water or juice or iced coffee, if it's frozen, that works.
It does. So if it's frozen, it can go through.
You can help avoid a checkpoint headache if you follow the rules and have your boarding pass and ID or passport ready.
We shouldn't have any problems this summer.
And Caldwell says most often the wait at the Jetport is about 20 minutes. We also heard from you guys about an Ask Now that he answered. Alan Gibney writes, what are they doing to address their 80% failure rate? He's referring to an undercover probe a few years ago that discovered TSA screeners were missing test weapons. Caldwell answers Alan's question.
So we've gone through a lot of additional training over the last year or two to address any of those concerns that have gone on. I can tell you every month TSA is breaking new records for firearms found at the checkpoint.
Very interesting, yeah, and really, really good that they're learning from that test.
Definitely.
All right. Learning your mother is slowly losing her memories.
They were happy times, and so that's what she wants to talk about.
We follow a daughter's emotional journey as she comes to terms with her mother's dementia diagnosis.
Coming up tonight on 207, more of our conversation with actor and singer Rick Springfield.
How's it going, guys? We have some really, really exciting news. Can we share a little early with our YouTubers and Facebookers?
Yeah, before I do.
Okay.
Are we actually on? Okay, great.
Yeah.
So before I do, I just want to mention something that I think didn't, and just in all honesty, just didn't get in the script for our sexual harassment story.
Yeah.
The man who was accused admitted to it, apologized, and resigned from his job. And I just want to make sure, I know that we're not on TV right now, but I want to make sure that everybody who's watching here online knows that that was kind of the outcome of that. It's not something where he denied it and so on and so forth, because I know that gets a little messy.
Gotcha.
So I just wanted to make sure everybody understood that at this point that's where that stands.
Gotcha. Okay, now can I get a drum roll? Everybody at home, use your, whatever you're watching from, use your desk, use your kitchen table, maybe you're cooking.
We're going to the Mon.
Yeah, we're going to move to the Mon as I drum roll.
I'm ruining it for all of you.
Okay, Liam, we got to point the camera over here because we have very big news to share. Okay.
Oh, I'm good. I'm going to leave it over here, actually.
Chris Costa, a.k.a. Coco, has won. Do you want me to say it or do you want to say it?
You can say it.
He has won an Edward R. Murrow Award, which is one of the most, if not the most, prestigious awards you can win as a journalist. So congratulations.
I really appreciate it.
That is awesome. Like
yeah.
you should feel the energy in this newsroom today. Like everyone is so pumped for you.
Yeah, and I just want to make sure that we mention too, I have a co-winner on this.
That's right.
The photojournalist who worked with me is Devin Crawford.
That's right.
And he hangs out with 207 most of the time, and if you ever see some of the stuff that he does, you'll see this really beautiful photography. But in this case, this is not like the many beautiful features he's able to shoot. This was kind of intense and like adrenaline pumping, even for someone who's standing behind the camera.
And the good thing is, you guys are going to be able to see it later on in the show. We're going to show it again.
Yeah. Oh, okay, cool. He was a really good sport. He jumped in that day and helped me out and was like, yeah, I'll come meet you in between my shoots and come help you out with this, because it was something that was really hard for me to shoot by myself, which is what we normally do.
So two big winners in our newsroom.
So
Everyone
really
is so happy for them.
Couldn't have done without
and
them.
they asked me to take the picture of them, like, to celebrate.
Yeah.
I know. It was really cool. I'm just kidding. It was cool, but I'm blowing it out of proportion.
Thank you, Tammy, and thank you, Pat. I appreciate it.
So. But the cool thing, and why we're sharing this with you now, is this was one of your first stories for Now.
Yeah, it was. It was literally the first story we ran on Now, which was really, really cool to take a viewer who had questions about an issue. This happened to be a really big issue, and bring them through the process. If you guys remember a couple of weeks ago,
the Narcan
maybe like 2
one?
months ago, we brought a woman who had questions about Narcan.
Right.
We brought her to first responders who told her about Narcan, how it's used, so on and so forth. And that story, the shoot or don't shoot story, inspired that. So it's pretty cool. $5.7 million. That's the number of people living in America today with Alzheimer's dementia.
That's 5.7 million people forgetting what they ate for breakfast, or their wedding day, or the names of their own children.
Dementia is a terrible condition that robs our family members of their greatest memories. And while doctors feverishly search for a cure, people across the country are coming together to share their stories and offer advice to those just starting a journey with dementia.
Val Lego, a reporter at our sister station in Michigan, shares her mother's experience.
There are moments you think you'll always remember. But for some, they fade like film on old home movies. Nearly 5 million Americans have been diagnosed with dementia, and my mother is one of them.
Hi, Mom. Waiting for your phone call. Happy Mother's Day.
I think there's two. I'm getting up because I'm pinching.
Just a few months ago, we moved Mom into an advanced memory care facility. The hardest part was separating her from my dad. They've been married for nearly 6